the IETF, and I wanted to open this event and welcome you all here. Thank you for coming. Good crowd. Great to see you here. And I've been at the previous events as well, of course, and I always found it very interesting what you guys were working on, or what the participants in those events were working on. So I'm excited to see what you're going to come up with today and tomorrow. And of course, we're here because the essence of the internet and the IETF as well is not just specifications and papers, but it's about running code. That's what actually makes the internet work. So we're trying to build that. We're trying to figure out what kind of cool things we can actually innovate and build here and get going. And I'm not going to talk any longer. I'm just going to let the co-chairs, Charles and Barry, take over. And again, welcome.
You want to say anything before that?
No, after.
Okay. Great. Okay, thank you, Yari. And yeah, to those of you who don't know me, I'm Charles Eckel. I've been working with the IETF to put on these hackathons for a while now. This is actually our sixth version of it already, if you can believe that. As Yari mentioned, really the key thing here is we want to produce more running code. Ideally, if that's open source code, it's even better. The idea being that it not only then serves as a way to work with some of the standards that we're defining, but actually to help you understand them a bit better. Having the specs, great. Having some code that implements it's even better. And hey, if you can grab that code and start integrating it into whatever project or needs you have, that's even better still. So the goal there being that we want to speed up the work that's going on in the IETF, not only to define the standard, but to adopt it, get it implemented, and get it deployed. All right. And so that's all great, but we also want to collaborate. That's very important. Have some fun here. Take advantage of the fact of these people who are around you. The people that you always gravitate to, and it's great to see them, right? But talk to the people you don't know. We have just a wealth of talent and skills in terms of standards, in terms of programming. I see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces. So get to know the people around you and really take advantage of that. And of course, cookies or whatever the local rendition is going to be great. And we'll have beer. More on that later. So a couple serious things. We operate under the note well, as everything else in the IETF does. So if you haven't seen that yet, check that out. What I wanted to point out is there's nothing really in the note well that talks directly to code. So we've done a little work, and this is still a work in progress, I think. I don't know if we have it more defined than this kind of this loose definition that I have here, but the idea here is that when it comes to code, you're operating under the note well, but we thought we'd give a little bit of clues as to how it maps to code. So you're free to work on any code you want. Usually there's going to be some rules around that code, a license, around it. You're subject to the rules of that in terms of how you use and contribute to that code base. The code that you work on here itself is not an IETF contribution. What is an IETF contribution is when you come to the mic, give a presentation or something like that, the stuff you put on these posters, just like it would be in any working group sort of meeting when you're contributing that way. That's kind of the way it works here as well. And to help you collaborate on code, this is totally optional, but if you don't already have a place where your code's hosted, because if you do, that's just keep working, doing what you normally do. But if you need a place to put your code so that the folks working on it can work with you together, we created an organization within GitHub where we host the projects. And so if you've never used Git or GitHub before, we have just a brief tutorial for you there, some links. And you can see here we have a few projects from previous hackathons. So if you want to use this for your project, for your team, let me know. Let me know your GitHub ID. And if you don't have one, you have to create one. That's very simple. And we can get a project created for you, and you guys can then share your code using this. So let me briefly run through the agenda. So this is roughly where we're at now, doing this kickoff, and I promise not to take too much time with it. As soon as we finish with this, we're going to end with kind of pointing out where the various project teams are, and then Barry and myself and Yari will help you If you need any help, we'll help you find the right people here, get you settled and working as part of one or more teams here. So that's really important. We're going to spend as much time on that as it takes. Usually it doesn't take much time at all, but it's critical to get everyone plugged in and working on something that's of interest to them where they can contribute. Lunch will be brought in here. Hopefully it works for you. You can just stay here and continue to work through lunch. That would be fantastic. We can really make the most of our time together. We'll have we'll have snacks brought in the afternoon. And then in the evening, we're actually going to have dinner brought in as well. And just before that, we'll kind of have this little sort of optional progress check just to make sure that everyone's working on something that's of interest. We'll let, if anyone wants to, it's a time when you can share what's happened so far. Maybe if you have some thoughts about, you want to ask some questions to the group, see if you can pull in people with other expertise or anything like that. It's kind of a good conversation starter so that then when we do break for dinner, you guys might want to sit at different tables, right, and get to discuss with other folks than who you've actually been working with. And so yeah, dinner will be here, and then the room stays open till 10. We will close it up then at that time. If you really want to keep working, you just have to go outside the doors, and the IETF network will still be there. But for the hotel staff and for those who do want to leave stuff and have it locked up, we stop at 10 p.m. But don't worry, because you can come back again early next day. Officially 9 a.m. As you saw today, though, the room will be open probably about an hour before that. So you can come earlier if you want to. Same kind of thing, lunch will be brought in. And the important thing, though, is to realize that we do want to have these presentations that everyone does, where you share with us what it was you tried to do and what worked and what didn't, and like feedback into the IETF. So around 1:30 at the latest, really want you to start thinking about that and putting together a presentation. And then at 2, that's when we're going to start and just go around table by table. Whoever wants to present, have you present to everyone here what you did. Not only to present to the folks who are in this room, but we'll be recording it so then other people can see what you did. And we'll have a team of judges up here too that are going to be listening to what you did, and then we'll be awarding some prizes afterwards. So just something to keep in mind when you're planning, that you want to be able to wrap up and have a brief presentation ready by 2 p.m. tomorrow. And by 4 p.m., we're going to be done. And I see there's a lot of first-time people here, I believe, and it's really important. We want them to be able to get to the newcomer stuff. We want everyone to be able to go to the welcome reception. So by 4 p.m., we should be done. Actually, just wondering, a show of hands, how many people this is your first IETF experience? First anything with the IETF? Cool. How many people first hackathon? Yeah, of course, should be even more. Okay, that's great. Welcome, and you know, you can ask me questions at any time now or after this little presentation's over. I'll try to help you out, but thanks for coming. I mentioned the project presentations, and just these have to be very brief because we want to get them all done in an hour. And so when you're doing it, think of, we have fewer projects, I think, this year, because just fewer teams, but we may have to adjust this a little bit. But it's going to be around 4 minutes is going to be the time limit you're going to have. Maybe 3, maybe 5, we'll let you know exactly, but keep that in mind. And really, it's what was it you were trying to do? What did you achieve? And then very importantly, what's kind of the lessons learned or the highlights that you want the IETF to take away, and maybe that you need to bring into your working group based on what you learned. The judges, we mentioned we'd be having some judges. They're really going to judge you based on those goals that you saw at the beginning. You know, what kind of code are you producing? How is it going to accelerate the work of the IETF? Are you helping bring new people and new stuff into the IETF? And then another fun thing, don't know how many of you use Twitter. It's very easy to use, and if you want some help with that, let me know. Not that I'm a huge Twitter user, but we try to have some fun with it each year. Take some photos in here, some thoughts you have, share them with the community that way. But notice the 2 hashtags here we have, IETF Hackathon and IETF 97. If you use those hashtags, we'll pick them up, and then we'll have a prize that we award for whoever takes the best photo or does the best hackathon post. And I've been mentioning prizes, so want to thank our hackathon sponsor, Huawei. They sponsored the last two, and they're sponsoring this one as well. And so we'll have some prizes, fun prizes that they've brought. So when I mentioned the judging and that, don't get too hung up on it. It's not a super competitive, right? It's more collaborative. So we just have some fun kind of token gifts for you to enjoy based on if you're able to impress the judges. And then just a couple other things for you to be aware of. So the hackathon ends at 4 p.m., but for those who want to continue to be able to work together, we're going to set aside some space within the IETF lounge. I have a little pointer here to where it is. It's on the 6th floor, just one floor up, should be right in the middle. Oh, that's right where we are now, actually, too. But anyways, just right up there. So during the week, if you guys want to use that, it's just kind of informal thing. You don't need to reserve it or anything. But just show up, and it's just a way that you can gather, work on code together. And on Thursday, as we've done in the past, we'll have a table at Bits and Bytes. And the idea being here, if there's something you worked on in the hackathon and now you want to be able to share it with the IETF community, do a little demo or whatever, we'll have some space there. So be thinking about that during these next 2 days. And by the end of tomorrow, I'll be asking for people, hey, if there's something you want to show, let me know. Now, we obviously, if all of you want to present something, we don't have enough space. In the past, we've been able to manage, but we'll have to see how many teams want to present and how much space we have. So if you're interested in that, be thinking about it and be sure that you let me know before the end of tomorrow. Okay, so this is the list of all the projects that we have here. And in the past, we've had short presentations by each of the project teams, but because we have so many now, we opted to just have these little posters all over the place and use that so people could advertise their stuff that way. But to help with the process, what I'd like to do is just run through here, and when I call out each project, the folks who are in the room, maybe just raise your hand so that when I shut up, everyone's able to go and walk around and find you. So hopefully that makes sense. The ACTN folks, where are you at? Okay, great. How about capturing and analyzing network data flows? The Joy project. Ah, there you are. All right. All right, the Jose, and do you say Jose? All right, back there. Oh, did we get, did the DOTS guys, was anyone, they were having some problems at the end. Anyone here from DOTS? Okay. If you were hoping to work on that, come see me and we'll figure out what to do, because I think the lead for that wasn't able to get here. DNS stuff? All right. Couple tables there. The I2NSF. Sue, you're kind of off to the edge there. We'll get you a spot at the big table. And I2RS also. Okay. Yes, you guys got that whole row there. Yeah, yeah, fantastic. The LoRa. Yep. Okay, great. Multipath TCP. Over there. Okay, fantastic. PCE. You guys back again. Great. Good to have you. Okay, we have two SFC. I don't know if those things are going to make sense to work closely together or not, but how about the two SFC projects? Where are you guys at? Oh, good. You're sitting next to each other, so that's working well already. Okay, great. TLS, I saw you guys back there in the corner. Fantastic. And VPP? Okay, great. So if you couldn't decide which of the SFC or VPP, now it should be easy for you. And then the Yang NetConf guys over here in this corner. Okay, great. So what we'll do next is let you go and find the teams you want to work with if you haven't already. Any questions?
I have something to say first.
Cool.
A couple of things. As Charles said, Huawei is sponsoring this year, but Charles Eckel has done, I mean, I'm co-chairing with emphasis on the word co. Charles is doing all the heavy lifting here, and he's really the one who put this together and founded this. Everybody give him a hand, please. So Cisco sponsored the hackathons last year, the first 3. Huawei sponsored them this year. We're looking for someone else to take it up next year and sponsor it and make sure this is a community effort. So if anybody has thoughts on whether your company can sponsor hackathons next year, come see us and we'll point you to the right people. And finally, Huawei has set up a developer sandbox, and it's available for use here. I want to just say a brief thing about it. Go to developer.huawei.com, click on Huawei ICT, and under resources and tools, you'll see remote lab, and you can go there. This shows a list of labs and a little brief thing on how to get started with it. You need to do a free registration. If you have any questions about using that, and if you'd like to use it, see Jianzhong, right? Jianzhong here, and he'll give you more information on that. And that's it. Any questions on anything Charles said or I said? Hack away.
Okay.